Hey, what's going on, everyone? Brad here from Preeminent Practice. And today I'm going to be talking about 5 simple ways to increase bookings and make more cash without having to use any discounts. Now, these 5 steps are the same steps that I've been using for years now and teach with over 300 different healthcare practitioners. I'm going to be going through these super quick. So make sure that you jot down these notes. And if you have any questions, make sure you comment in the chat. Now, the first thing that I always like to focus on is your target market, getting focused on your target market. A lot of therapists waste a ton of money on advertising because they haven't spent enough time choosing the right market or the right niche to target their advertisements to. Now, this also goes for organic. A lot of people are doing joint ventures wrong, and they're getting out there, pounding the ground and reaching out to people in the community, but they're not clear on specifically what problems they're solving and who for. So getting clear on who that perfect patient is for your business is the first step in targeting your specific niche and ultimately increasing the number of prospects seeking your service and searching for you, which is going to result in more bookings and an increased return on your marketing dollars or the time invested in your organic marketing strategies. Now, you want to be a specific and select an audience that both your skill set at working with, but also you're passionate with helping. When you create a list of numerous conditions and types of patients you treat, you end up making yourself a commodity amongst other practitioners, as well as services like Dr. Hose or foam rollers and massage guns and all that kind of stuff. So what happens is when you commoditize your service, you can't charge as much. People are confused on where to go by, and they're going to choose based on price or convenience. And that's going to be extremely challenging to grow a business on. So you want to get super clear on your target market. In my magnetic messaging module, we talk about creating that magnetic messaging. We talk about markets, submarkets, and niches. So the niche is who you're targeting or what problem specifically you're targeting with, what you're helping them do, and why you're helping them do that. So if you can create that targeted message, it's going to help differentiate you a lot. Now, number 2 is fine-tuning your messaging. I call it the unique service message about what you're doing. So if you're still competing with other businesses for new patients, and people are choosing you or you're having a discount or choosing you based on location, then you need to create a unique service message about what your business does and giving people a clear understanding about why you're the only source for that. We talk about creating your new unique service message as well as defining your and giving clarity to what your process is. I call this the signature solution. What is your signature solution and who does it actually work for? Once you nail this, you'll end up having people reaching out to you because you're speaking to the outcomes and the identities of what they're having problems with. Again, people don't buy fat loss. They don't buy back pain relief. They buy, I don't want to feel like this old guy whose back is killing him and I'm the old guy who's slowing everyone down at hockey, or I'm worried that, hey, at 55, I'm going to have a hip replacement like my dad because I'm going down that route. Those are things that people are motivated and focused on solving. They're not focused on buying massage or your service or fat loss and those kind of things. All that stuff is super superficial. We want to get deeper. Now, when you've got your messaging sorted out and you've got dialed in with your unique service message and how things work, the next easiest thing, that's the lowest hanging fruit for people, is to sell maintenance plans of care. When you take a bunch of products or services you're already selling and create a package with a compelling price, you can often make more revenue for your business. Maintenance plans of care are a critical component to, in my opinion, better overall patient success, more referrals, and a more profitable practice. Because so many people come to us for initial problems where we've got a plan of care. And I'm going to assume you're selling a plan of care. If you're not, then that's a problem besides this. You just need to start with selling a plan of care, which is addressing the initial issue. But people after that, they have performance goals. Maybe a person came with you with knee pain and they can't run. They want to overcome some knee pain, but their actual goal is they want to run a marathon. Well, if you can help them make sure they don't break down going to that marathon as well as recovery after, that's something that someone often will buy. Now, one example that we've used is we worked with a physiotherapist who also employed a personal trainer. What we did was we developed a back to sport program, which included a combination of therapy and personal training sessions to optimize their active adults patient injury recovery and getting them back into the activity of the sport, whatever that may be, golf and whatnot. We had different campaigns for it. This increased the revenue almost $7,000 or $8,000 per month because they combined a better outcome. So someone didn't have to worry about, well, how am I going to be able to exercise or whatever it is together? They just combine these things together. They're working very well together, and they've established more joint venture partnerships with local groups like running groups and gyms in the area as well. On average, the healthcare businesses that offer memberships, from what I've seen in our group, have around 250% higher lifetime value and triple the client retention rate than practices who do not do this. Now, I've worked with almost, I think, around 400 people now of healthcare practitioners, so I've got a lot of different data points. There's no reason to not have plans of care or maintenance plans of care, because those things are what people want anyways, and it's very easy for them to just make an offer and they will take you up on it. They get better results, they refer more people to you, more consistent schedule, more profit, and everyone's happy there. Now, big thing that people miss out on, especially as we're getting into digital age, is selling to groups. We've talked about this numerous times, and you'll hear me talk and present on this with the idea of selling to groups using things like workshops, community events, webinars, JV partnerships, and so on, instead of just doing one-to-one. When you get good at selling to groups, you can appeal to more prospects at a time while building your authority and trust. This is why I incorporate and use workshops, video sales letters, and micro webinars, that kind of thing, in order to get and broadcast message to more people. Instead of doing a consultation to just one person, if I've got 20 or 25 people in the room, on average, we know that 8 to 10 people of there are going to be able to book in a initial evaluation. And typically from a workshop, I would expect somewhere between at least $10,000 to sort of $18,000 in plan of care revenue. Now, we incorporated a workshop with a massage therapist who was just starting out and had a limited advertising budget, have a lot more time, didn't have as much money to be able to run ads and so on. So her niche is post-pregnancy women suffering with low back pain, migraines, other issues from post-pregnancy. So together, we crafted a workshop that allowed her to present to a group of 15 plus women about how her services can help them get out of pain and back to pre-pregnancy life. Again, goes back to number one and number two, what we talked about, honing in that message, going back to the identity of where they want to get to. Now, during her first presentation, she booked 12 out of 15 people into her 8-week plan of care and added over $9,600 in revenue. She currently continues to run variations of this workshop on a monthly basis and has changed the entire practice to only be focused on post-pregnancy while she's being booked out in advance. So workshops, webinars, supporting leverage those ways is a critical way to save you time and get your message in front of lots of different people. Now, number 5 here, guys, is probably one of the most important here on the list that gets overlooked and is one of the most lowest hanging fruit, besides just selling maintenance plans of care to your current clients if you're not doing it. And that is rounding up past patients, past prospects in your business. Now, you might be surprised at how many patients have gone missing over time. They've dropped off, or they moved, or whatever it may be. You know, they didn't require your services anymore, or they simply just forgot and you got busy, you forgot. The key here is having an automated system to be able to catch when a patient hasn't been active in booking and understanding why they haven't been, and ultimately get them to book. Often they'll be happy that you reached out to them. We call these service reactivation calls. Text messages, emails, we send letters in the mail, all that stuff. We run it through a CRM. I use Active Campaign. There's lots of different ones available, but the key here is it needs to be automated. Just randomly not focusing on them or not nurturing the relationship is never going to work as well. In our practice, we have an automated system that sends out a note to our front desk receptionist, which will reach out via phone when this patient has hit a specific time of absence from booking, whether they've dropped off or whether they're a no-show or canceled or something that's came up. We want to be able to capture that right away. And the program sends notices, as well as, like I said, handwritten letters in the mail to past patients to stay in contact and encourage rebooking. A lot of the time, people don't know that you can help them with other services. The amount of times that in my own business, as well as clients, where someone came in for a shoulder or neck problem and now have a back problem or ankle, and they just say, oh, well, I thought you just did shoulders. I thought you just did neck. I didn't know you could help me with my knee. And just having that connection point allows them to get back in, or will generate a referral because they have something else. Typically, I like to be able to rebook, 12, 15 past patients per month using a reactivation based system. If you've got a list of usually, 400 or 500 people, I would expect at least that. And as a result, you're going to have more revenue. Your therapists are going to be busier. You're going to be busier if it's just you. And ultimately, the patients get held accountable, better results, and ultimately, everyone wins in this scenario. Now, these are all immediate solutions to bring in an instant flow of cash to your business with very little work. You could do a maintenance plan of care like that tomorrow. You can reactivate people immediately. You could plan a workshop, do one next week. So doing any one of these is going to increase your income, scheduled bookings, getting people back on, and doing all of these can make a tremendous impact, which is what I call geometrical growth. And we work with clients. One of the first things we do is what we call quick cash campaigns. We have 5 different quick cash campaigns that are based around these principles that we install right away in order to get bookings in. And often we try to get people positive ROI on their investment of time and money and everything within the first 2 weeks of running these quick cash campaigns. So my suggestion to you, if you need new bookings, if you need more patients on the schedule and more income, pick 1 or 2 of these to start. And once you've implemented them, systemize it and automate it so that it's going to run on autopilot using things like CRM, like I mentioned, and then move on to the next one. But the main thing is that you implement these and make sure you set them up and automate them so that way you don't have to do them all the time. Otherwise, you're going to have to constantly go back and reinvent the wheel, so to speak. And this is where a lot of people forget and people fall through the cracks. So hopefully you found these tips helpful. Make sure you take action this week. Pick 1 or 2 of these, take action on it, and let me know your results. Thanks.